Welcome to Situational Awareness and Process Manipulation. This will be a quicker video running through some of the process enumeration steps I typically take, along with some of the process manipulation commands such as killing processes, viewing loud and just busy processes, and things like that. So let's jump right in here. RTFM on the right, and then on the left here, I have our SSH session that's coming from Brian Leon's box against our first Linux machine in our scenario. And the first one here, ID. This is going to give me a little bit more information about my currently logged on user. Think of it like a who am I command on Windows. I have my user identification number right here, my group ID, my groups, and just some helpful information about my currently running process. So if you're trying to leverage a plain text password and switch to a different user account, or maybe you're running as some type of web server or program like that, you'll see that reflected in the ID command. The next one is W. Let me drop that one in there. It looks like I am the only person logged on to this machine right here. And again, look, coming right from Brian Leon's box where he's usually logging in from. So this looks pretty normal. Again, I have my code user username here, from IP, how long I've been connected for. So it just gives us a little bit more information about that login session. Last, TAC A looks best when you maximize. So I'm gonna go ahead and maximize it, run it here. And then you can see all the last logins. So I have the Debian account that was logged in a bunch. There were some system reboots. And if I scroll all the way up, you should probably see my current login session. Yep. You can see we have code user here. It did shorten it to code use. That's kind of funny, but you can see still logged in. If you hop on a Linux machine in an assessment, you can see all the users that frequently log in. We drop that back over here. Next up, we have PSEF. This is going to list out processes on the machine. I typically do a PSEF. Other people have their preferences for sure, so feel free to play around with some of those arguments, but this will give you a really good look at what processes are currently running on the machine. So you can see the SSH daemons running here. If the user's running anything of interest, if the user's running any persistent third-party software, you are going to see all the names over there. The other really important thing I want you to look at is right here, actually. Look really close. You can see the PSEF that I just ran. That means any type of command line arguments that users are feeding these different applications and systems will show up in a process list. So you can actually find a ton of important stuff here, and even potentially passwords. If the user's trying to start some application and they're passing in some arguments that actually specify a configuration file, you'll be able to see that in your process list, go find that configuration file, and then cat that out looking for any type of credential material or other helpful information. The next two we have here, mount or find mount. These are gonna list out drives and other mounted items. And then this I'm gonna do maximized as well. We'll type mount here. You can see all the different mounts that are currently set. You're going to see a lot of just interesting mounts and other things that the Linux operating system needs to function correctly. So if you don't understand what some of these are, feel free to go Google them to learn a little bit more. The other big thing I want to show here, this is one of my personal favorites. I use it all the time. Find mount. This is going to list out mounts that have been done, but it puts in this really cool kind of tree format so you can see exactly what's being mounted where. And again, network shares and other things are going to be listed here as well. Let me run a quick PSEF over here. We do have a couple kill commands. I'm not going to kill any of the processes, but I did want to show you how. If you do a kill TAC9, that's going to force the process kill. And I'll say in my experience, 9 times out of 10, I give it the TAC9 anyway, because processes are somewhat stubborn sometimes. They just will not die, especially if it's not responding. And that's the reason you're killing it. So the TAC9 will kill it forcibly. And what you really want to look for here is this right here. This is the process ID. So if I wanted to kill this K worker, whatever it is, it's running as root. So there's no way I have the privilege to do it. But I would take that process ID, fill it in there, and then hit enter. Again, operation not permitted. I'm not root, so that's a good way to protect it. The other option here, kill all. If you have a ton of processes running under the same name, you can use kill all and then put the process name, and it'll just go through and nuke all those processes by name. Top is another really awesome command. Again, I use this one all the time. Let me maximize here and show you. It's going to give you a ton of performance information at the top of the page here. You have tasks, how many are running, sleeping, etc. Memory information such as how much is available. You have your swap info. And then again, this is where I use it the most, is this %CPU. You can immediately find those processes that are pegging out the CPU, hogging all the process power. Again, I see myself using this all the time to quickly identify just rogue processes sucking up CPU. Like I keep saying, a lot of these red team tools are not the most user-friendly, so they may get frozen or stick and just fire up, suck all your resources off on your machine. So being able to do a top and quickly identify what processes are hogging all your resources is extremely useful. And then I already went through this one in the previous section, but if you do a cat fs tab, you'll get the FS tab, which includes a bunch of different network shares, devices, whatever an administrator wants to make sure are mounted to the machine on startup. You're going to find all those in FS tab, along with any credentials that may be needed to mount those devices. So I hope you enjoyed that look at process manipulation and situational awareness. Honestly, just try to get access to a Linux machine and just start using it. That is the best way you can learn the ins and outs of an operating system and get way more comfortable interacting with it via command line. I would say, get comfortable. That way you're sure to be successful on your next red team engagement or capture the flag event. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click through to the next one and we'll start on some user enumeration.